Why am I upside down? It's my case would be on the wrong way though. When it worked the other day. Usually doesn't the camera flip when you flip?
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Lunacy with Colleen Marie. I am your host and the resident astrologer here at PCSM Church. I wanted to just take a minute here. I apologize for coming in late. We are having some technical difficulties, which kind of is par for the course for this particular Aquarius season. So let me just make sure that this is working. I'm waiting to just get the go ahead and the green light to see that Sandy can see me. All right, well, let's just get started because hopefully this is going and broadcasting where it needs to go. So as I said, we're in the midst of Aquarius season, and I don't know about you guys, but every late January, into February tends to feel a little intense in my life. In fact, sadly, I've lost a lot of my grandparents in specifically February. So the reason I bring this up is that, Aquarius season really is a time to expect the unexpected. Now, that can be something difficult, but also something good, some breakthrough. So I think a lot of us are experiencing these two extremes almost at the same time. So I know there's been a lot of tragedy around here locally on the South Shore lately, as well as globally and nationally with some of these police brutality things that we're seeing in the news right now. And it looks like she texted me, but I'm not getting it. So the issue that I'm finding is that we have to be willing to see the bigger picture in a lot of these scenarios and recognize that sometimes horrific tragedy is what's needed to shake up what is going on so that things can shift and change. So that being said, if you've been feeling that intensity, you're not alone. Now, diving in specifically to this week, let's talk about what's happening, just specifically between today, Monday, January 30th, through February 5th, the full moon. So the major transits this week. The first one is that through Monday through Thursday, we're going to be experiencing the sun trine Mars. The sun, of course, is in Aquarius. Mars is in Gemini, as it has been for several weeks now. And this is a powerful transit, especially for getting things done. So if you're feeling a lot of that masculine, young drive to kind of just push pedal to the metal and blast through obstacles, that is perfectly on time and exactly where we're meant to be at this moment. So just know that, forward momentum is definitely possible. The trine is a harmonious alignment, and both of these planets, the sun, of course, a luminary, the sun and Mars are in air signs. So this is a lot of, forward momentum, having a lot of big ideas and passion and excitement, and really, this ability to create change is possible. Now, Wednesday, we do have an exact sextile between Sun and Chiron. That's going to bring in a desire to heal ourselves and others through our own kind of trauma awareness. So if you've been working with your shadow work at all, this is a really great time to kind of take a deep look at ourselves. And really, we're probably already feeling this alignment today, tomorrow, and certainly on Wednesday. So just looking at your life and where you can have a little bit more self-awareness, especially when it comes to your trauma. Next, on Friday, we have the exact square between the Sun and Uranus in Taurus. Uranus in Taurus, it's been there for a long time, and it's really changing the way that we look at our worth and our connection to wealth. And it wants to create more equity. And so if we are experiencing a square to that, we might be noticing that there are areas in our lives where our self-esteem or the way we view ourselves is kind of clashing with our desire to create more equity and to have a better kind of more broad stroke view of what it means to be abundant in our life. Let me just see if I can get this to refresh. 1 second. Let's see. I just want to see if I got a message from Sandy to say that this is even working, but my computer is for some reason not working. I'm going to try that and see if that works. Okay. So the next thing I want to mention with that square between the Sun and Uranus is that there's breakthrough that's possible. So we might be feeling a little bit of restlessness, a little bit of frustration, but ultimately this can create a unique, oh good, it's working, oh good. This can create a unique breakthrough around those issues of self-worth and really looking at what do I believe my value is here. So understanding our worth often comes with a little bit of tension. And that's what Uranus is all about right now as it's moving through Taurus. So having to really break down those generational curses, that is so key to where we are at this point in our culture, but especially I think this week. So if you notice any kind of conflict where someone is coming after you for your, what you offer and your worth, just know that that is probably coming to the surface so that it can be healed and moved through. All right, so the next thing on Saturday, we have a big square between Venus and Mars. And this can be challenging. Venus, of course, is in Pisces. And while, Venus likes Pisces, it can be a little difficult because Pisces wants to not just love the other person, but completely enmesh with them. And meanwhile, Mars in Gemini is looking at all the little things that don't align, okay? So Mars in Gemini is going to be like, oh, you didn't close the cabinet door, but then Pisces Venus is going to be like, but we're so connected and I want all of this to be oneness always. So do you see how those two at a square would definitely cause some issues, especially in relationships, right? So we might be really wanting to, with this square, we might find ourselves kind of like ignoring some of the red flags in our relationships or some of the issues so that, we can enmesh with the person, but then at the same time, we might swing to the other extreme and really pick things apart and get really nitty gritty and into the details. So here's the thing. Venus, Mars, when they are in a positive alignment, can be really passionate and sexy and steamy and creative. So let's try, if we can, to take some of these challenges and these conflicts and remember that at the base of all of it is this diametric opposition between the masculine and feminine in our lives. So balancing that, bringing it to awareness is going to be super important this week. And I know I'm feeling it in my personal relationships, and I'm sure you're all feeling it as well. Okay, so how do we understand the moon in all of this week? So first of all, the moon right now is, we're moving towards this full moon in Leo on Sunday. And whenever we're in this waxing phase of the moon, this is when our energy is rising and it's getting stronger. We might find ourselves with increased vitality, but also increased kind of potential for conflict or, putting our emotions onto other people because the emotions are just feeling stronger and stronger during this time. So again, it's really important to ground ourselves through this and maybe not bite off more than we can chew, but still use this powerful vitality and go for what we want to achieve. So remember I said earlier that we've got this beautiful, Sun, Mars trine. That means big things can happen this week, especially the first few days. So if you've been waiting on certain things or you've been thinking about them, I know I had this huge breakthrough last week around what I want to offer moving into 2023. And I've been like playing with it. It's sitting there, but I need to flesh it out. I need to put it out there into the world. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the first half of this week. So let's talk about what the moon's doing and what sign it is in. So Monday through Wednesday, the moon is actually, I'm like getting up in my chair so you can see me more centered. The moon's in Gemini. So I mentioned a minute ago that Mars is in Gemini. So especially Monday and Tuesday, we've also got the moon coming in and adding a little bit of extra oomph to that, yang kind of forward momentum that I've been talking about. This is definitely a time where we might find ourselves focused on kind of the lighter side of things, wanting to laugh at stuff, wanting to do a million things at once. That is the potential with Gemini. This is also a time where any matters of the mind, of communication, of understanding things in a different light and seeing all sides to a situation, that is very heavily kind of supported during this time. So Monday through Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, again, especially, we've got that Mars conjunct the moon. So this is really interesting because it can bring some frustration. It can bring some conflict. It can bring some situations that bring our, matters of the mind to the forefront, and we feel the need to speak up about them, to talk about this. Tempers can flare. There also is a potential here with the moon square to Venus to have some conflicts with other women. So I do think that that is something to just be aware of. If you are a woman, I mean, but with women, no matter if you're a man or woman, that can happen when we see a square between the moon and Venus. Okay, Thursday through Saturday, the moon moves into a very different energy, which of course is Cancer. Cancer, the Gemini to Cancer, switch over is going to feel palpable because Gemini does not want to go too deeply into all of the emotions that are swirling, whereas Cancer is like, let's go, let's dive right in. Cancer is, of course, a water sign and it rules the moon. And we also have, again, that Venus in Pisces happening. So that is all kind of super watery. And water is powerful for healing. It means you might be feeling the tears flowing. I know, like I mentioned earlier, with all of the stuff that's been going on globally, a lot of us are feeling a lot. And this could be a good time to kind of release some of that pent-up emotion. And to do that in the best way, of course, is to just give ourselves the space to nurture the soul. So take it a little bit more slowly on Thursday through Saturday. Spend time alone with your close friends and family if you can, nurturing yourself first and then others. So this can mean staying in the comfort zone, eating comfort food, letting it flow, trusting that, this is a key part of balancing all of the energies of the entire zodiac. Whenever the moon moves through a sign, it means we need that medicine. Now, the key here too will be to really journal about these emotions, I think, because remember, we're working with Gemini energy too, which is all about communication and the, verbal approach. So I do think it's going to be really important to put words to the emotions that we're feeling. And don't be afraid to journal. Don't be afraid to kind of put things to paper. And then once the kind of anger and intensity subsides, then we decide when to share what we've been feeling. This is also an important time for boundaries with other people. So if you're overgiving and you're feeling drained, remember to give to yourself first. And we're going to be feeling all of this as we then feel a massive shift on Sunday when the moon moves into its full expression in Leo. So let me dive into this whole Aquarius-Leo axis. So it's almost as if Leo, ruled by the sun, is the king, and Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, is the kingdom. So if we think of leader and collective, the self first and then everyone first. Those are the two kind of dynamics that we're balancing when we're talking about Leo and Aquarius. So we're in Aquarius season, but the full moon is always in the opposite sign, in this case, of course, Leo. So this dynamic opposition that we're experiencing at every full moon is to help bring light into the shadow side of what the sun is moving through. So what's the shadow side of Aquarius? Because it's so easy to look at Aquarius and think, oh, it's like such a wonderful sign, it's so healing, there's no low vibration of that, we're giving to everyone. How could that be bad? And yes, that's true, but we often forget that there's always a shadow. There's always a way for any energy to be out of balance. So an out of balance Aquarius is going to look like someone who completely identifies with change for change's sake and throws kind of sometimes the baby out with the bathwater. And because they're such rebels that they forget to actually be just present for what's already here and see the good in it. Leo, the lion, the king, the sun, is always able to kind of bring us back to the present moment, to find the fun, to not take everything so seriously, to maybe not be so critical of the way things are, and instead just luxuriate in the present moment. Leo isn't afraid to kind of be lazy, kind of just like sit with what's going on. Leo can be a beautiful kind of reminder of the need to put our oxygen mask on ourselves first and to really finding what feels good, let that sun shine in our lives. Where can we be more of a leader? Where can we be more in touch with the joy in our life, the fun in our life, the things that we're doing just because they make us feel good? And I talk about this a lot, but my personal, I'm going to just be luxuriate in my moment is I do paint by numbers by the fire. That's my escape from all of the seriousness that is going on in the world. And it's okay to do that, right? We need to find things that just make our soul feel good and fill up our cup. And how Leo is that too, that it's by the fire and it's painting, so it's self-expression, not so much leadership. So there's other ways that I try to create that in my life, but looking for ways that we can, really shine our own light and be at peace with that and find the fun and the joy and the silliness and the pleasure and the entertainment and the drama. Sure, why not, right? All of that is what we bring in with this full moon in Leo. So as we head towards that full moon this week, I just really encourage all of us to look at our understanding of how do we let our light shine in the world? How do we find joy and fun and align with that divine sun child within? So that is your homework, right? This week is to really bring that to the forefront, because in the midst of, all of this intensity and desire to change it all up, Leo says, well, there's a lot that's good actually already present here. So let's join up with that. Let's celebrate that. And we'll be able to move into this full moon with alignment and peace, more peace. We all need a little bit of that. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all for joining us today. I know that we've got so many wonderful things happening at PCSM Church, so head over to their website for all of the upcoming events. I'm sure if Sandy was able to be on today, she'd have some awesome things to share, because they are just doing such incredible things for the community. So just don't forget to head over there, check that stuff out. And you can always chat with me if you'd like to learn more about your personal astrology and how all of this is going to really affect you on a very personal level. As far as updates on my end, yeah, just stay tuned. I've got some exciting things coming down the pike. We'll be here again next Monday at high noon. And thank you. I hope you have a wonderful week. And